Let's go. Good morning, my friends. It's your old pal, PeaceLoveMusic, with another episode of the Good Morning Stacks show, brought to you live by DeOrganized Media in partnership with our good friends over at BitcoinLive, Decentralized Broadcasting. It is Wednesday, the 29th of January. Month's almost over. It is the middle of the week, hump day. Whoop, whoop. Get over the hump today. Get your work done. Make it easy to slide into the weekend. That's how I take Wednesday into stride. Wednesdays. It's a great day. I'm feeling good about what's going on in the space. There's so many cool things happening in our space these days, and I'm very excited about it. I know that there was a lot of red earlier in the week, and people might still not be feeling good about that, but you know, if you're building for the long term and you're not worried about short-term price action, you feel better those days. In fact, it could be an opportunity. So with that being said, we are a news show. We're providing news and information to help inform our audience. We are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research and never invest money you cannot afford to lose. With that being said, here are the numbers for the day. Bitcoin's down a little bit from yesterday morning, still holding on to 102. Coming in at 102.297 as of a few minutes before broadcast. Stacks down a little bit to $1.25, but still holding on to the number. Actually moved up to 55th place on CoinMarketCap, ranked by market cap. And Fear and Greed Index has dropped a little bit to 50, still holding on to the neutral range. Top three gainers on CoinMarketCap for the past 24 hours are WIF, Dog with Knife Token, Dog with Hat token, that's weird, Move token, and BitTensor's Tau token. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Hermetica yield on USDH is at 29%. That's right. You can earn 29% on dollar stable coins backed by Bitcoin over on Hermetica.fi right now. Have you checked out Bitflow's automated buying feature? Set it, forget it, and go touch some grass. There's a new token IDO on Alex. RuneMine Mine token IDO launching on Alex February 3rd, creating infrastructure for meme coins. And there's an AMA with AppMine Labs, the creator of that token. That's Wednesday today at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Velar perp trading is coming soon, very soon. We're going to have consistent fast blocks. I think they're kind of generally consistent today, as of right now. So we're getting closer and closer to that being a reality. Hashtag return to ape. Also, don't miss the guide to launching self-deployed liquidity pools on Velar. Zest is offering 7.29% yield on SBTC this morning, and their highest yield today is 24.86% on USDA. Token from Arcadico. Today's rates at Stacking DAO 8.37 on Liquid STXT, or receive yield in native BTC at 8.04%. And now you can actually earn yield on SBTC at 7.37% when you stack your stacks with Stacking DAO. The top three STX token performers on Velar the past 24 hours are STX AI, Runes, and Bob token. Friendly reminder, when you stack your stacks, you earn yield in Bitcoin. Tell your friends you can actually participate in securing the network and the proof of transfer protocol that links stacks to the Bitcoin blockchain, making it the leading layer 2 on stacks with smart contract functionality. You can earn yield in Bitcoin by participating in securing the network. If you're interested in learning more about that, DM us. We'll happily point you in the right direction. You got to get set up with a wallet. If you don't have one, we'll get you some stacks and then show you how to stake it if you're interested. Which US-based crypto are you most bullish on? Tell us in the comments below. Today's calendar for the day, and I didn't get the events calendar. I did tell you about the Alex AMA at 10 a.m. We also have the Zest Community Hall. That's every Wednesday at 11 a.m. in the Zest Discord channel. And Stacks Builders office hours, that's with, I believe, with Kenny Rogers. And that's a Zoom meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday. And that is, you can get the link to that Zoom meeting at the Stacks calendar if you go to stacks.co. And then under Explore, under Events, is where all the calendar events are, and you can see that daily, and you can get links to any of the events there, show links, spaces links, whatever, as they're available. And on to the news. Oh, friendly reminder too, we are building out a community calendar function for DeOrganized. So if you have spaces or events or shows that you want to get broad, distribution and amplification, so get more viewership on your stuff, you can head over to deorganized.media, set up a basic account. It's just a simple wallet connectivity. So you connect your Leather wallet, you connect your Xverse wallet. It's just you're signing a message. It sets up your account. You can remain anonymous, or you can put in your information and connect your socials and whatever, and that creates an account. And then from there, you can set up a show. You can be the show owner. We're working on some self-service right now. There's a little bit of a layer of admin that you have to go through, but over time, we're going to be building that out, and then we will be able to shout out your show every morning and let everybody know that you have a show going on whenever it is. So get in and participate in that. Paul Gruel, attorney, legal counsel for Coinbase, is said on the SEC's treatment of crypto, treat these projects on a non-discriminatory basis and allow the markets to sort out who wins and who loses. Allow the market to sort out who wins and loses, rather than winners being picked and losers being picked by unelected bureaucrats in Washington. It's a novel idea. By the way, just to free markets are actually deflationary by nature. Let that sink in. Coinbase adds Chris LaCivita, co-campaign manager for Trump, and former New York Fed President William Dudley to its global advisory board. World Liberty Financial multi-sig wallet invests another 10 million USDT to buy 200 million World Liberty Financial tokens from Trump's World Liberty Finance, bringing its 3-day total to $20 million USDT for 400 million WLFI. Don't love that ticker. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. Hong Kong's SFC grants the first, that's kind of like their SEC, securities, and I forget what it stands for, but it's a securities regulator, grants the first crypto trading licenses of 2025 to Panther Trade and YAX, bringing the total to 7 since mid-2024. AI-powered romance scams are the latest crypto fraud threat. Scammers use deepfakes and chatbots to manipulate victims emotionally and financially. Don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall for it. Nobody's that into you, and that's okay. Don't fall for it. Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev calls on the SEC to update investor rules and allow equity tokenization for startups. That's really cool, actually. Vlad, come on, I know you watch the show. We need stacks on Robinhood. I'd actually put way more cash into Robinhood if I could buy some stacks there. For sure. Czech National Bank governor plans to propose allocating up to 5% of the country's 146 billion euro reserves into Bitcoin. That's 5% is like $7 billion dollars worth of Bitcoin. That's a significant purchase for just one national bank. Metaplanet aims to purchase 21,000 BTC by 2026. Crypto.com will delist USDT and 9 other tokens in Europe on January 31st, with users given until March 31st to convert assets under MiCA rules. I didn't know that the Europeans were cracking down on USDT. I wonder why. They probably have a dollar stable or a stable token that they're looking at that they prefer, I would imagine. Kentucky State Representative TJ Roberts says he will be filing a Bitcoin strategic reserve bill next week. I promised to fight to make, saying, quote, I promised to fight to make Kentucky the crypto capital of the world, he adds. That's a lofty goal. Nothing against Kentucky, but I think that that's a long shot that Kentucky would be the crypto capital of the world. But every state and every municipality should actually be acquiring Bitcoin, in my non-financial advisor opinion. Do you have a .btc name? You can get one now over at bns.one. They've announced a number of platform enhancements for user interface, listing marketplace enhancements, and more. Head on over to bns.one and get your own .btc, .stx, or other BNS digital IDs now. If there are going to be more use cases for that down the line, it's building. But your time to get them is running, to get the ones that you want, the names that you're interested in having, is running out. So get over to bns.one and get yourself some .btc names. Cheap, cost you a couple stacks. And the other ones, .stx, .id, .stacks, there's a number of them. They're super cheap. It's like 0.10, 0.15 stacks or something like that to register. So go get, there's no reason not to have some BNS name attached to your wallets. Unless you're just, there's no good reason not to. Oh, have you checked out Zero Authority now? Zero Authority bounties there are currently a couple of bounties active right now. You can head on over to zeroauthority.xyz, go to bounties, follow the directions to participate and possibly earn some STX and or SBTC. By now, you've all heard about what's going on over at aibtc.dev and their process for launching AI DAOs. If you haven't, you can go to aibtc.dev and check them out. All you have to do is post on X at prompt to DAO, telling it the details of the DAO you want to initiate, and it does it for you. With AI agents running your AI DAO, token gets launched for whatever purpose they're launching a token. And then there's new enhancements being added regularly. Token trading is live on Fact.fun. If you haven't checked out Fact.fun, you should head over there. It's a new bonding curve platform. There's a bunch of new tokens in the bonding curve over there, similar to STX.city, which I am also a fan of. And it's great that we have options in the marketplace for our users in stacks that want to launch a token. You can do a fair launch now on both Fact.fun and STX.city. Congratulations to Reece in the crowd today, in our panel today. He minted out his 12 one-of-one NFTs on gated.so. You can head over to Gated now to set up your account. Also, still minting is the first project on there, When Walls Break by Good Kitty, and we can talk to her about that because she's joining us this morning. Also, Find to Earn is coming to the morning show starting next Monday. Now you can have a chance to play and win daily. We still have our game scheduled for Thursday, the long form game, but we're going to start doing games regularly at the tail end of the morning show starting next week. And you'll have an opportunity to Find to Earn daily. So tune in Monday through Friday towards the end of the show, probably looking around like 9:30, 9:45. We're a little loose with times around here. But really excited about that. Looking to get started as a developer with Stacks, head over to stacks.co. On the right-hand side, you'll see Get Started. And from there, you can access developer tools. There's all sorts of tools on there. There's a bunch of, further down, there's a bunch of community tools. You can learn the basics, build a full app, and there's even some ways to get paid to build over at stacks.co. Check them out. Are you interested in helping builders and devs? We have a new community QA tester group. If you're interested in joining, or if you're looking for testers, DM me and we'll get you into that group, connected to that group, and get you started. It's PeaceLoveMusic G on X, and anyone can DM me. If you're having trouble DMing me, mention it in the live chat, and we'll get you on there. Also, a SIP innovation call every Friday at 11 a.m. Tune in to learn what's being developed and actually give us your input on what you'd like to see developed on Stacks. Really great stuff happening there. Also looking at some new ways to utilize AI for the SIP creation process. So stay tuned to that. That is the news for the day. And I just want to say, oh my goodness, we have so many people saying good morning. We got Coins. What's up? Coins is a newer face in the space. Gary, good morning, my brother. How are you today? We got to get Gary up on here. more often. He's been on a number of panels with us. Good morning, GP. I know you're in the wings here. Good morning, Jamie. What's up, my brother? Love seeing all of this chatter. Nobody famous. Good morning. Good morning, Ishan. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wow, we got so many people. I'm going to bring on our friends to say good morning to and we can chat about what's going on in the space. I got GPSC. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good kitty.
Morning.
Melanie, I should say. Still, good morning, Reece, babyface Reece. And we got Bucket Hat Crew in the house. Good morning, sir. How are you? Can you hear me?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How about you?
Awesome. Looking forward to talking to you. We have never really chatted. We chatted in DMs and probably a little bit in spaces and stuff, but really excited to have you today.
Yeah, excited to be here. I always watch, some of the morning shows. It's really interesting what you guys discuss.
We try. It's partly is because I'm a little bit ADD. So if the conversation gets boring, it's okay because I just skip to the next thing anyway. I can't help myself. So it keeps everybody on their toes that way.
I was thinking while you were talking that if I had a dinner party, you would be one of the top people on my list to invite. I find it so interesting, and you are such a conversationalist. I really want to know and love the way you speak and the way you and you know so much about everything, and it's also interesting. So
thank you. I think it's because of the couple of concussions I had when I was a kid. It just keeps me. I just can't help but I can't stop thinking. Is really what it's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I have a similar type of reasoning. As you can see, the scar over here, it was much bigger when I was a kid, but I ran straight head first into a wall when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I always tell people that's where the creativity came. That's where the genius came.
It must be because I jumped out a window. We had a 2-story house. Well, I actually fell, and we went. I was 2, and we went to like a shopping mall, and somebody was outside cleaning a window. On those things that like are on a building that they're outside. And I was like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. So I climbed out the window. Obviously not a good idea when you're 2. And I fell, boom, down. So I think falling on your head or out a window or whatever, that's the secret, man.
It might be. I fell at a roller skating party when I was 3 and cracked my head on the hard floor and got a concussion. And then I actually also have a small scar here. You can see it kind of have this permanent lump too. You can't. It's like I got the worst shaped head for video, but I my 13th birthday, we were over at my dad's house, my brother and a friend of mine, and we had found his golf clubs, and we were hitting golf balls over the fence in the yard. And I was, just playing, kids doing stupid things. And I was walking behind my brother when he was taking his turn, and my friend goes, "Go!" And so my brother swung, and I caught the follow through from his golf club right in my forehead. So it was a bad day for me. I thought I was going to die.
That is, you lucky that you're still like actually walking around and making sense. Jesus, that is like hectic.
Yeah, and it's like,
but it's like my son is super creative, and he's had his forehead cut open here and here. He's been in for stitches twice. I'm telling you, we've just figured out.
Starting to see a pattern.
So head trauma leads to creativity, potentially.
Look, this is not medical advice. People,
yeah.
not go and hit someone to hit you with a golf stick. This is untested, non-medical advice.
Wow, we really got on
Bucket
this.
Hat
We
just said
figured
he's
it out, guys.
working on his camera.
Solid. Yeah, it'd be cool. Oh, he's gonna wow. All right, so we might have a Bucket Hat crew docs today. Is that what's happening right now? That's cool. Yeah, I was dropped on my head whenever I was really little, so I feel like I'm in this superpower group with you guys now too. We got mad creative. It's cool. Oh, that's a good
Gary
laugh.
says things are starting to make sense now.
Well,
Gary, did you
Yep.
also fall
Gary's pretty creative. I wonder if he's gotten some head trauma too.
He says that things are starting to make sense now. Either we are like,
Either we're not as smart and creative as we think we are.
or he. Tell us the truth, Gary. Did you hit your head?
I'm interested in. I'd love to know more about Bucket Hat Crew. So are you still there, man?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah, you don't have. And listen, you don't feel obligated to go on camera. We can do. There's a lot of guests that we have that aren't doxxed and aren't interested in doxing, and that's okay. We're not trying to pressure anybody into doxing. I will tell you though, the three people on stage with me were not doxxed until they started doing shows with me, or at least had been not so recently doxxed. So it does tend to go that way the more you come on our shows. So just be careful if you're not interested in doxing.
It's all right. My team members, they know who I am and everything. So
What? So tell us about what's the background of Bucket Hat Crew? Where'd you start, and what's your vision?
well, I would say I started in about 2021. When I started, I was looking more towards the Ethereum and Polygon chain to launch our NFT collections. But for Ethereum, I quickly realized that the gas fees was too high to launch anything on there during that time. So I started looking more into Bitcoin, and I found Stacks, and with the low gas fees on Stacks, I thought it was a perfect chain for me to build on. So that's kind of how I got started on Stacks, and ever since then, I've been engaging more with the community and building more stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, and it's a low barrier to entry on Stacks, and actually one of the great things about it is that it doesn't cost a lot to get in and participate and start building. It takes time. You got to understand some of the stuff. You need help with guys like Gary who can do the Trip and Monkey and a bunch of there's a bunch of good guys in the space that can help us with that stuff too. Buy a new car with all those sales. Reece, did you buy a new car with all those sales from your machines? Maybe not quite that much. There he is. I love it. I love the orange cap too.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Let's go.
Good morning, bro.
So,
Nice.
bucket, is that a bucket hat? That's not.
No, unfortunately not.
We gotta. That's something we gotta get some. You guys get some merch. We'll wear it on the show to help promote the Bucket Hat Crew.
Of course.
Get us some bucket hats.
Whenever I first
So-
got my start, Bucket Hat Crew was one of the first people that I linked and kind of reached out to. That's why they've got Raymond in the Gigapepe V2 collection. Is you got to start similar starts at the same time, man, in the stack space. So it's awesome to have you on and actually get to kind of chop it up with you and see what your plans are. I know you've been playing with AI and building some tools, man. What you got any launches coming up that you're looking forward to?
Yes, we're launching the AI agents on virtuals for Stack Scanner, which basically she looks to be the biggest influencer in Bitcoin and stacks. So for the configurations, I actually have lots of API implemented into the backend. So she'll be able to fetch data and output the data to any users that need it. So that's what I'm excited for. The launch is Friday, if anyone's interested in that. So after Friday, we'll be able to see how she works and how she talks to the users. So that's what's exciting. That's coming up.
So is that the STX? What's the account for Stack Scanner? Is it STX Scanner?
It's actually S9PR underscore agents now.
Hold on, let me actually S9PR.
Yeah, underscore agent, which is short for sniper. So she's basically agent S9PR, also known as sniper.
Oh, S9
So can you launch?
PR. Go ahead.
Can you launch an AI agent on virtuals and then it works with stacks?
Yes, you just have to implement a lot of Stacks API on the back end, and basically it fetches the data. Well, if you look at Hyro, Hyro has a lot of API endpoints, so you could basically just plug it into the agents, and the agents will be able to fetch data like token data, basically like volume, market cap, all that. So it's basically all you need. It's an API endpoint, and that should be good.
Okay.
Wow, super cool. So you have an agent that's going to be basically helping promote Stacks ecosystem, Bucket Hat Crew, and what else is it kind of like a helper agent, or exactly what?
It's more of a, I would say, influencer slash utility agent, in the sense that it could give you alpha on tokens that you don't see every day. So since it has data in the back end, it could provide more unbiased opinions about specific tokens. So as I was saying, like, it could give you good alpha if you need it. And so in the sense, I would say it's more of a utility agent, rather than just a random chatbot.
Very cool. And that's coming out. That's launching on. So you already have an account on X, obviously, with like 800 plus followers. So that's great. I already was following. So you must be doing something to get some people's attention, because I followed you. I followed the agent already. But as of Friday, you're launching a virtuals bot that will be kind of helping control that account to kind of expand that agent's functionality.
Yes.
How do you find is the program when you launch a bot on virtuals, is there a lot of programming capacity? Like, can you tell it to do a lot of different things?
Yes, I mean, the virtuals protocol they're shipping updates regularly. So right now I'll say it's 70% complete, in the sense that you have a lot of power in what you could make the agent do. So it has a lot of custom functions you could plug into the protocol. And for my agent, it has, I believe, 7 custom functions with different APIs that it could fetch from. So, I mean, with the protocol, it gives you a lot of leverage to what you could do. It just depends on how creative you are. So,
what a wild world we live in, right? Think about, like, just a year ago, if we told people that these things were actually, this is what we were going to be doing in January of 2025, we wouldn't have really believed it. I bet, it didn't. This function, I mean, we could have entertained it, because some of the things we were doing with with GPT, but man, how far we've come so rapidly. It's crazy. Have you seen do I call you what's your name, sir? Do I call you
Yeah, my name is
I'm sorry,
Reece.
Rashid? Rashid,
Yes,
what
Rashid.
have you seen the abstract protocol that launched recently?
Yes, I've heard of it, but I
You
haven't
haven't
really
played it
dived
because
into it.
we saw one yesterday. We played with a chat bot that they created. Now it's just a bot on a website that Legend of Stacks Legends, my good friend Jack Binswitch created, actually one based on Salma Hayek. And we chatted with her yesterday, and she was very, very engaging, and it was very, very fast. Yeah, you had to go to the website to engage. She's not. I don't think she can be put in charge of an X account yet or whatnot. But man, it's just crazy the tools that are available. It's nuts these days, man. Crazy.
Yes, I actually watched the stream with the
You
Salma,
watched that? Yeah, you
and
saw
you
that.
guys were like,
So it was like
yeah,
I wasn't even that. I had no idea what to expect. I hadn't played with it at all before the show, so it was all just it was all authentic and live, And I think Michael will be joining us soon too. Is he actually here? No, that was actually that was just five of us right now. I'd love to hear what he has, some takes he has on what you're doing, and see what he would suggest, because he's been working in that realm too a little bit. So sometimes though, he's like yesterday when he came on, he had actually he had been up all night, so I won't be surprised if he actually doesn't make it today. He's probably slumbering. But so you saw the show yesterday, so you know a little bit of what's going on over there. What was your opinion on how that was functioning with the questions and responses and all of that? I mean, it's pretty amazing, right?
yeah, it was pretty interesting. But he did say that it still needed some more tweaks. But it was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting to see how you guys interacted with it without like giving it any predictive questions. So I thought it was
Yeah, it was just a conversation.
Yeah,
it
and
was
you can
very, very
you just straight
conversational.
up push the talk. You just straight up push the talk. You don't have to like type anything on your keyboard. So it's straight voice to voice to get that feedback from that AI agent, which I thought was really interesting, and I thought it felt a little bit different than other things that I've seen in this space. I just had to say a little bit about your artwork. Is like I see that as like very heavily like anime, like influenced. You have some of that type of the things that you do, and I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. Also seeing that your sniper agent has that anime-esque look to it. So is that something that you like follow? That's kind of like your art style that's where you draw inspiration?
Yes. I've been watching anime since I was a little kid. So I really like the artwork specifically of anime characters. For Stack Scanner, I guess the sniper agent now. The picture is actually from another anime that I've watched, which the character is actually a sniper. So I thought it would be cool to add the profile picture.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
It's funny
cool,
you were
dude.
saying just now
Seeing that like
that, sorry.
no, go ahead,
I
Kitty.
think GP's on a slow.
Am I on a delay again? Am I delaying?
You're not delayed. GP has you. Sometimes he gets a little bit behind on the audio, so he's not always hearing us right away.
No, it's just so weird. You saying about, if you'd said to us a year ago, this is what we would be doing. But if I look at some of my friends, they're not even using ChatGPT yet. And they are so far behind that it's bizarre. I actually get afraid for them. I get afraid for them that they don't have Bitcoin, that they're not using AI. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going to happen to like this, like, probably 80% of the population in like 2 years' time when, we literally, I think it's just going to be such a weird shock to them because even if I tell people like some of the weird stuff that's going on where we're getting these AI agents and you can, they like, don't even believe me that it's true. They think I'm deranged and I follow a deranged cult.
But that in itself should be like a wake-up call. The fact that we're not living in the future. Like in our minds we might, but right now reality is not living in the future. That's just how far behind they are. And that huge gap is only going to grow wider as they build these walls of, no, I'm not going to try and experiment. No, I'm not going to try and learn about this. I'm just going to lock myself off from it. But it's not going to go away. Same like Bitcoin, like maybe somebody told you about it in 2015. It's not going to go away. Instead, it's going to grow bigger. And by the time you actually realize, shit, I should have learned something, it's way too late. And it's a good question that you're asking. What is that going to look like? How will society look like when that actually happens?
Well, that's what worries me because I look at like my son, right? He's 13. So he just thinks paper money is the funniest thing he's ever heard of. And like, why do you even have it? It's like the weirdest thing to him because you can just roll it up in a ball and throw it away. So he already sees, and the only money he's got saved is crypto. And I said to him, we've been talking about AI for a while, and he uses it with coding because he builds games. And I said to him the other day, look, we've got to go on this journey with AI together, right? Because it's either going to control you or you're going to control it. And if you don't know how to talk to it, then who are you? You're going to be talking to somebody else's group of knowledge. So I don't know. I feel like I want to, same like we were talking the other day about investing in DeFi. Like you're going to have all these bots doing the job for you, but you can talk to it better. Right? So it's about learning a language with a new kind of being. It's same like in the old days, you'd have to learn to type. I don't know.
I think what we're going to see evolve is that the AI is going to be adapted to make it easier to use to gain adoption. It's going to get us just like Web3 wallets are going to start abstracting away, and you're not going to have to worry about seed phrases, or you're not going to have to worry about RPCs and putting in the thing and all of that stuff. That won't be necessary because in order to get adoption, they have to make it easy. They have to make it easy for people to use. I do realize that there's a concern for people being left behind. So what we need to make sure is that the good people, the well-minded people that are interested in expanding things to benefit everybody, to build things out so that they can benefit everybody. We need to make sure that we're doing what we can to make sure that the things that are being developed are inclusive and not exclusive. That's really, I think, because I'm not looking to become an overlord of a bunch of other people because I know how to use the AI and they don't. That's not the world I want to see exist. So we need to get as many people out there as possible that do have those skills, and then we also need to make sure that we're influencing the development so that the AI is catered towards being as accessible as possible.
I think that's why I love Stacks so much, because I feel like everybody that I meet, or 99.9% of the people, have these beautiful intentions. They kind of like Bitcoiners, and I think it's the same as what Rashid was saying. He was kind of looking at Bitcoin and then came to Stacks because that was where he could do what he wanted to do. So you've got all these people who kind of have these Bitcoin intentions, because it's, and then they find Stacks, and then, so you know what I mean? They're not coming with, it feels to me like each blockchain has its own kind of mind, of the collective people that are on it. So if you think of a blockchain, you can almost describe it as if it's like a person. To me, that's how I think of them. They've each got a personality that lives and breathes with the people that I kind of meet when I'm there, because I've been around to a lot of them. I don't know, and I love Stacks. I feel like it's got a good heart.
Yes, and actually, so Hamish, we all know Hamish from the D Grants platform, and he did a bunch of stuff with DAOs, and he's actually now I don't want to miss. He ran for office and won, so he's down in Australia, and he's some kind of councilman or something. I'm not sure exactly what the role is. So, but he was saying, number one, that we need to get decentralized internet to make these things broader, which I understand GP's issue might be more equipment based than signal based, but we do need decentralized broadband connectivity that will help with censorship resistance. And Nobody Famous pointed out that we do have such a thing called Helium Network. Actually, there is a distributed, and you can earn by many years ago, I actually tried to get one of their devices, and they were just sold out, and I lost track of it, so I wasn't paying attention. If I had, though, I would have made a ton of money mining helium because it did do well. But more of those things are important. We do need, and Hamish says he got involved in politics and tech in order to bring everyone along with him, not to control people, and that's part of it. It's why we're here, and that is actually, to reiterate what Kitty said, that's a lot of why I've stuck with the Stacks community, because there's a lot of that mentality here. I was actually having this conversation with Jamie in the dog pool, where we are all subjective beings. We're all finite beings. We have our own, we're trapped within our own subjectivity. So you can't really do anything selflessly per se, but you can recognize that you don't want to be alone in the world. You want to engage with others. And so what does the world look like where you can engage with who you want to, and they can engage with you if they choose? And we have consent-based free market exchange versus what we have now, which is we do not have a free market system, no matter what anybody wants to tell you. The problem with our world is not capitalism, which is free market exchange essentially, or private ownership. It's a veneer of capitalism with top-down control mechanisms that basically isolate people from being able to participate without barriers to entry in markets, which causes massive inflation. Free markets actually generate deflation, because as competition it streamlines processes, it makes production more efficient, then the cost to produce goes down, and more competition comes in. If they can build it better and more cheaply, then they're going to do that. The market will adjust. And so over time, we should actually see the cost of producing things go down over and over again. But we don't have a monetary policy that follows that. It's actually an extractive monetary policy, predatory in every way. And I think that some of the things we're building here, just Bitcoin and beyond, if you will, are going to actually help us build out the rails to create a more inclusive economic structure for everybody to participate in. And so, like,
I cannot say this enough. Bitcoin is a Trojan horse, and it's working effectively as it should. And we're still seeing the outwork of that. I know everyone here knows it. I know everyone believes it. I know even everyone in the audience believes it. But it's just worthy to keep on saying it, that Bitcoin
Say it every
is a
day.
Trojan horse. Doing its thing.
It's true.
Aren't we the ones that are inside the Trojan horse?
That's right.
We're the lucky ones.
I'm actually reminded of the scene from Monty Python where they build a what was it, a large, it wasn't a, well, I forget what they built. It wasn't a horse. It wasn't a badger. That was the second suggestion. But then they all forgot to get inside of it. So they were anyway. Great movie. The Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It'll make you laugh, or it might. It depends. It's not.
I have never gotten.
There's a wooden rabbit.
My husband.
There was a rabbit.
What was that other one?
It was a wooden rabbit.
Marathon and hey? Oh, wooden rabbit.
That type of comedy speaks to me. Just does. Yeah.
That's not the one with John Faulty Towers as well.
Well, yeah, John Cleese is. I haven't seen a lot of Faulty Towers, and I didn't.
It just irritates.
Yeah, that wasn't as amusing, but I can also appreciate where the humor isn't for everybody, and sometimes it's too much. But it's that's how humor goes, right? If you're on, it's always about figuring out where the boundaries are and getting as far close to them as you can, maybe even going a little bit past, pulling yourself back, But anyway, not to get off topic, but yeah, I do think that Bitcoin is it's peace money. It's a paradigm. It's anti-war money. It separates state and finance to a large degree, which makes it harder for lobbyists to lobby the state to direct policy in a way that is not necessarily in the best interest of everybody, and that's Bitcoin helps us there.
Don't you think as well, Reece? I mean, Reece and I are from South Africa, and I think this is something that can it's like the first thing to me that's come along that can really make a difference in a country like ours. It's like this country needs it. This country needs what we're building in a huge way. And I think that's why we'll probably see like a lot of onboarding in countries like ours, because I think it's almost easier to kind of be unbanked in. I mean, I see so many of like, it's starting already kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's, you talk about like, getting in proper internet. It's a lot in terms of infrastructure that we need. But I mean, if you think about people having to, there's a lot of people that don't have the paperwork necessary, for example, to open a bank account. The things that they need to open a bank account. Or
even, you said internet, and that's actually, I would love to have our brother 300, on the show with us regularly, because he provides an awesome different perspective. He produces such great stuff in the space. I would absolutely have him on all the time, and he was going to have a show like you guys have, like a number of people have, and we were going to do a specific show for him. And the dude just built a house. He built a house so he could put a solar array in, because he didn't have consistent power. He's in Zimbabwe. He didn't have consistent power. He built a house so he could put a solar system in so he could have consistent power. But now where he is, his internet sucks. So he can't do a live stream because he can't get connectivity enough to get on and do a live stream, which it's frustrating. And I'm sure it's frustrating for me because I would love to have he's a value added asset in the space. And so we need to be able to, that's an issue too. We need to be able to get broader distribution of broadband access to everybody. You know, that's actually something we need.
I think, you know, we've just, Starlink is kind of setting up here. So I think that's probably going to make a difference because we have, I mean, that is like a huge problem, not only in Zimbabwe, you know, it's
right. It's a lot of,
Mel?
Yeah.
Is Starlink legal now in South Africa? I know it only recently got legalized in Zim, but as far as I know, I didn't know it's legal yet here. Otherwise, I'd be on that like yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think it's legal yet. I haven't seen anything, but we saw some sort of here where we are. There's some, there's one of our friends is involved in that kind of stuff. And he had something to do with building like the software for MTN, you know, back in the day. That's one of our big cell phone providers. And yeah, it's coming. It's definitely coming.
Yeah, it's honestly so fucking messed up in the first place that Elon, you know, born in South Africa, creates Starlink, wants to sell it to South Africa, wants South Africans to have it. The government's just like, nah, that's not gonna happen. So it's so messed up, honestly, and I think it's just bad moves all around.
Yeah, I think
to add on to that,
it gives it's freedom. You know, it represents freedom. Yeah. And I think in countries that have had, you know, a huge majority of their population kind of under their control and access to certain things under their kind of terms, when you open up and you give people free internet, we already can see what that happens. When you open up these channels of communication, that gives you education. You know, that kind of, you looking at like, you know, the breaking down of the sort of government schooling system, because you opening up education, you looking at, you know, banks basically fucking out because, you know, people who are unbanked are not going to give a shit about the banks who treated them, you know, they're just going to be like, okay, hey, and that's already happening in our kind of, you know, what we call townships, right? You already seeing huge, you know, we sort of video clips and stuff, people going around where they are, you know, using those apps phone to phone. It is living its dream here in South Africa, Bitcoin. You know what I mean? You seeing these peer-to-peer transactions going on because they don't have access to bank accounts. You know,
imagine all the kiosks in South Africa. Sorry guys, I know we're like completely like making a whole theme of this now on this side, but imagine like all the kiosks in South Africa, all the SMEs like working from peer to peer, just completely bypassing that whole system. It would be groundbreaking for a lot of these small companies. It is. Do you know
listen,
about...
I know the guys building it. My friend who did the MTN thing. So our biggest wallet here in South Africa is Luna. And so the guy who was partnership with the whole Luna thing, he is hooking up with the guy, because we can also buy our groceries at our biggest grocery store with Bitcoin. So the guy who developed that QR code thing and the guy who was part of the team on Luna, I shouldn't probably be saying this like on camera, but anyway, they are busy building with my friend that product, that exact thing where people can basically, and you can use it not only peer-to-peer, but you can use it to get groceries. All of those, their target, the first people that they're going into are these kiosks and these sort of, you know, these areas that really need this. So it's so exciting. I mean, I couldn't be more excited about it.
You know, kudos for them for seeing the opportunity and making a way to make it happen. Because I noticed the same problem. I saw the opportunity and it was a big opportunity. You can make a lot of capital for your business that way if you can provide a solution that actually solves a lot of these people's issues. but I
Yeah.
wasn't able to do anything about it. And they have the technical knowledge, it seems, between the both of them, and they have the experience to do something like this. So it makes me very excited for South Africa. Yeah, thanks for making me bullish on that.
So I want to get Rashid back into the conversation, actually, because I want to hear more about what he has to say about. So what's the plan for Bucket Hat Crew after you develop this this agent? What's the project goal long term?
For stack scanner, I guess, sniper agents. The goal is to basically, onboard other people from other chains to stacks. And the way by doing it is by, having an agent that is actually quality for the crypto community to see. And then when they look at the agents and they see that it's more, adhered towards tax, they would have this sort of interest, to the stacks community. So that's actually for the sniper agents. After the launch, I actually have, another idea with an AI agent on AI BTC, which I saw they launched, a few weeks back. So with that agent, it'll be more of a trading agent that I could play around with, given the sense that I want to be able to give that agent funds and then have that agent trade multiple stacks tokens. And with that profit that it makes, it'll be interesting to have it use that profit to buy back into our token, let's say half the profits buy back into the token and then use the other half to continue trading and make more profits. I think that's the next interesting idea that I plan to develop after
I
this
like
launch.
it. I like it. I like the
It's
focus on
interesting.
onboarding users, and maybe I would recommend maybe also making the bot focus on like entry level education. You know, how to set up a wallet and how to fund a wallet and how to act. You know, how to mint an NFT or go to whatever. Like I would actually try to train it on encouraging people to do some specific basic stuff that gets them used to using the wallet, used to using the platform.
Yes, I mean with the agent, you could also uh, add clarity documentations and other stacks documentations, so it has you know more knowledge on the stacks ecosystem, and it could better inform others what stacks is about.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And to the overall conversation, what I see that where I see things going is that we're kind of, in order to grow, you have to transcend the things that are blocking you, but you also have to include them in the future development of things. So we're finding that Bitcoin in the third world, where people are unbanked, is banking the unbanked. It's also transcending the need for banks, because banks have failed in banking these people. So because they're transcending the need for banks, we're always going to have banks, right? We're not going to eliminate private banking, but we're transcending the need for it we're transcending it without actually opposing banks. And that's how you, and the same thing with governance. With schools, for instance, there are now many more opportunities because we have such tremendous access to information, tremendous access to communicate new information and direct communications. We are transcending the need for government controlled education. And that doesn't mean that all government controlled education will be eliminated. That's not the goal. The goal is to just provide more opportunity wherever we can. And as we provide more opportunity wherever we can, we transcend the siloing of opportunity and make that unnecessary.
Yes.
So, you know,
To add on to add on to what you guys were discussing before with Kitty, I'm actually from Ghana, and with the crypto and Bitcoin situation and the unbanked, it's actually, more so that, citizens from my country are actually using Bitcoin, given the sense that, the government can close your accounts anytime and there's nothing you could do about it. You can't sue them, you can't riot, you can't do anything. So what we see now is more people, more specifically the younger generations, are using Bitcoin to transact and basically do not have bank accounts to which the government can close anytime. So that's one aspect that is growing in my country, and I think it's really interesting to see Bitcoin actually work. In my country also, there's most of the people do not have bank accounts. It's a very few, selective that have accounts. So I think Bitcoin gives them, sort of I'll say their own bank account to which they can access.
Yeah,
anytime.
and I want
So,
to add something on that.
Sure.
This is where Stacks plays another critical role. Bitcoin is the mother chain, and we'll always acknowledge that. But a lot of people in African countries can't even afford something like $0.6 for the transaction fee. So with Stacks offering
Yeah.
such low transaction fees, it really makes it pragmatic to have that being used as a peer-to-peer currency instead of Bitcoin, which is still on Bitcoin itself, right? Obviously. So I can definitely foresee a world with widespread adoption of Stacks, where that would play a critical role in building the economies of a lot of these countries, like South Africa, like Ghana, like Zimbabwe.
Yes, that is true. Most people do not have $6 to
Right.
spend on transactions fee. Yeah, which I thought was interesting. That Stacks has a huge Nigerian base and does not have a huge Ghanaian base. Maybe that's that should be
It's coming.
another.
It's coming.
well,
Yeah, it's
so
coming.
we
That's why you.
we just got to reach out to the foundation
Yeah.
and you can start the Stacks Ghana chapter, just like Sam did with
Yeah, I
Stacks
would
Nigeria
love
and
to see a
Freddie who
world
said
where
hi.
there is.
Go ahead, Reece.
No, I just want to say I can't wait for a future where there is a Stacks X, where X is every single country.
That's it. Or even, we start having network states instead of actual physical states.
Yes, I know you're against the boundary lines.
Well,
network states become physical states.
They can.
So ultimately, I mean, I've I interviewed Grace and Electra, who have been doing who did the first cohort of the network school with Balaji. So I read before I interviewed them. I read The Network States, his book, and I just absolutely fell in love with that idea that you can. Gary, network states are already happening. Well, Stacks is almost, if you look at us, we are, as well as saying earlier, we've all come together. We are very similar people. We have good intentions. Stacks is almost like Gary said, unofficially, like a network state. We have a currency, we have all these people, we have a wallet. Now all we need is to find a piece of a whole bunch of distressed properties and all just go live there.
Well, it doesn't even have to. So I've been interested in this topic since before it was actually technologically viable, before Bitcoin. The idea of interacting in a governance model that is consent-based. Because right now it's not a consent-based system. It's a top-down. It's instigated by at the barrel of a gun. It's a violent system. The evolution of democracy. I mean, it's just kind of how our human. We're just ready to evolve, though. We are ready to evolve to a consent-based model where you can opt in and opt out to whatever network you're joining, and that is how we're going to transcend government. You're always going to have a local government that oversees what's happening locally, geographically speaking. But I don't think we need to keep consolidating power from the top down, a centralized, where you expand the geography and then you create this powerful entity that can dictate terms to people, and then is also a centralization point for those that are looking to extract power and control things, because now you have this control mechanism top down that can be usurped from the people. So the one way you can actually prevent it from being usurped is by having the ability to opt out. If you can opt out of the system, that means that the system is forced to appeal to as many people as possible to get them to opt in to joining, so that those resources go towards to whatever the paradigm. So it's actually a more functional democratic process by having the option of opting out and joining something else, not just opting out because I don't feel like participating because all those Republicans and Democrats are assholes, which a lot of them are. And I'm not saying they all are, but I'm just saying if you see it that way, you have no option otherwise right now. We cannot have a peaceful society until we establish a peaceful means for organizing society. Right now we have a violent system. So I do see the rails being built both within Bitcoin and stacks. Not that there's a political bent towards it, but the technological developments are going to give us the capacity to have opt-in, opt-out systems, and that's what the network state really represents.
I think as well, as we move kind of into the future, because with the network state, it's cloud first, land second. And I think more and more as we move into the future, the youth are not, the physical world is going to become less and less important. Not that it isn't going to be important, but there's going to be a big importance on this virtual, digital, because time is going to spend almost like half in each of them. So the feeling to me is that I should be able, and I think that's going to be the feeling of the kids of the future. It's like, yes, this is where I live, but I also want to live in a place that is like my digital world, where people are kind, so yeah, I love the idea, and we see it here a lot where we live. We live sort of, it's not rural, but it's like an hour outside the city. And we have kind of like little urban farms here, and you go and you buy you like basically can go and you pull your like carrots out the ground, and there's a guy sitting under a tree, and you go with a basket and they just weigh your basket no matter what veggies are in there, and you pick the tomatoes off the thing. And we kind of have locked out hugely. I mean, we know like the butcher who puts the meat in the thing. We're kind of starting to lock out that huge kind of gigantic machine that is feeding us, and we're eating local. We have got like a group where all our services are local. And I think the more and more that happens, and people understand that there's value in their service. If you think of us being able to make currency, and you think of somewhere like us, which is a third world country, and you say to people, okay, I saw this kind of video early on in my journey where you could create your own currency. At that point, this wasn't even a thought that we could do it like we do it now. And you could then create boundaries within your community. So say, for example, our community chooses to make a currency. And I can go and I can buy the carrots from under the tree with my own currency. Then I can say, come to my house and I'll cut your hair and you pay me with the currency we made. So and I think those kind of things are so easily they can easily happen easier in a third world country. It's weird.
Well,
I don't
there's different opportunities in different locations based on how things are. So, but yes, I think maybe a country that has less access to modernized finance and modernized, industrial capacity has an easier time developing a local economy, because it's almost out of necessity, right? But I do think that I'm very encouraged by where things are going. And we have a lot of work to do. I know this has been one of the greatest side chats too. There's a lot of awesome conversation happening in the live chat, that there's just been so much great conversation going on here with everybody too, that I haven't been able to kind of get the cross integration, but some of the stuff that Gary and nobody and Hamish and Jamie, like there's been some really great stuff going on in the conversation. DeFi Dictator. So nobody says bartering was the original system of things, and it will still be important in the future, I believe. Yes, bartering is important, but the advent of a medium of exchange so that you can dial in value that you're exchanging. So you don't have to trade a horse for 2 chickens, because that's all the person that needs the horse has. And while you really need some eggs and all you have is a horse to trade, it makes exchange a lot more. It increases the volatility of exchange, because if you really only have 2 chickens, you need the horse, but the guy with the horse doesn't want to sell you the horse for the 2 chickens, you're out of luck. So you can't really, we need money to exchange things, right? Barter's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's hard to get balanced exchange bartering.
I think there's 2 things. I think I see a future where it's what is it called when something is half, where it is we have something like bartering and we have currencies. So we live in such a sort of one track society at the moment. It's like all governments are like, we're the government, you've got a passport, you can't cross the border, this is where you can buy your food from. We live in this very, this is the kind of schooling we've got. The shit, I mean, if you think about it, everything has changed, everything except the way we teach our children. It is so messed up that it like boggles my mind that these kids are still being taught practically the same things. My son comes home and I look at his books and I'm like, are you actually joking? So it really irritates me. It's like such a thing. But I see a future where it's you kind of have bartering if that's what you choose, and you have a currency and that currency has value. Like I said, if we decide here in the valley where we live that we're going to use a certain currency, and we realize in our heads that we can actually do that, we don't have to follow the government's currency. If we make a currency and we all swap services, because we all got a talent, we all can do something here. Some dude can like do all our accounting. It's just got our services. So it's almost like I see you've got like government currency, and that pays for your kind of services.
And the fundamental basis of the US dollar, fundamental basis of fiat currency is that it's an established means of paying your taxes. That's what gives it value, because when it's not backed by anything. The US dollar is actually backed by oil essentially the petrodollar that was created in the 70s, which was a scheme to establish dollar hegemony and cement the dollar as the world standard, the world de facto world exchange currency. So it's a lot more complicated than that. Even where nobody says that the value in a barter exchange comes from the people deciding to do the exchange, and that's true. All value is subjective, in my opinion, and I'll be happy to have that debate another time. We have too much. We don't have a lot of time left today, but it's a lot more complicated than that because there's supply and demand, and who else has a horse, or who else has some chickens that they want to trade for their horse, and maybe they have more chickens and all of that stuff. Like, there's a lot more involved. It's not just the two parties that are in the exchange. And I say that as I broker real estate deals. I'm not a broker, a licensed broker. I have a broker that I work under. I'm a licensed realtor. But I do handle and facilitate the exchange of real estate brokerage. And, yes, it's for money, but there's all sorts of terms involved in the exchange. It's not just the dollar value. It could be the length of time, or the financing situation, or what kind of inspections you're going to have versus what somebody else is offering. So there's a number of variables involved that, if the terms, you have to show the value. Are you going to trade a horse for just 2 chickens? Probably not. You'll keep the horse and wait, unless you just desperately need some eggs, and that's the only way you're going to get them. So it's complicated, is all I'm saying.
We have something really interesting here in South Africa, where you have, it's got a name which I can't think of right now, Stokvel, okay? And what happens is each month, somebody will, and I must say, I'm agreeing. I'm also looking at the comments, and Nobody Famous, I totally agree with everything you're saying. You are spot on. But we have a thing, right, called Stokvel, and every single month, because obviously we're talking now about unbanked people, right? Who can't get bank accounts. So what they do to get savings and to save up large sums of money, each month they'll get a big group of people. So say 20 people will be involved. And each month, you'll each give 1,000 rand, say, with $100 to one of the people in the group. So that person then gets this, $2,000 on that month, and then that goes around in this group. So each person gets an opportunity to have a large sum of money, in which that they can buy, for example, put a deposit down on a car or whatever it is. So the thing, and I think that's why I'm looking at what Nobody Famous is saying and agreeing, because there are so many different ways and imaginative ways to look at currency, and you specifically see them in third world countries where you don't have these options, and where you do have exchanges. You see, people will kind of do your hair, and then you will go and they will. So the value is in the necessity of the thing almost, and it's small things. So yes, you're not going to buy a house with it, but you're certainly going to. This lady will be able to make sew dresses, and this lady will cook meals. So for example, you'll have people who, one of them will cut up veggies, okay? And then somebody else on their time will actually cook the meal, and then it's kind of swapped around or shared meals. So there's very interesting and innovative ways to create ways of exchange,
Sure, but it's easier when people have access to currency. There are things you cannot barter for. That's my.
Yeah, but that's
not all bartering is animals, and I understand how bartering works.
That's the word I'm looking for, hybrid. So the future is hybrid. The future is allows us, we're very, like I said, we go on one track now. If you want something, you need cash. And we're programmed to think that that is the right way to live. But it isn't the right way to live. You know, you shouldn't have to have $1 to get food. That is where we've all got it so wrong. You could have something else.
Part of it is, though, like back, I'm talking about in where I live, you know, so a couple generations ago, a lot more people did grow some of their own food. Even if it was a small amount, they weren't farmers necessarily, but they had a garden or they had some livestock. It's just part of their regular activity. And we've kind of abstracted that away in our society. There's a lot, you know, there's actually less and less because the farmland became more valuable as places for people to live as supply and demand dynamics changed. But it's, yes, I agree that the current paradigm is that you need to earn money in order to be able to buy the things you need to survive, and that's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be just that either. But I don't think we're going to eliminate currency.
No, I agree. It's a hybrid. It's going to be, you're going to have, you know, like if you look at it now with the kids, you know, my son spends Robux, and Robux have a real value. You know, V-Bucks have a real, you know, you can get an entire outfit if you've got enough V-Bucks. And I mean, as a gamer, you know, I play Fortnite and I know I want to look cool, you know, and the only way I can get that is by exchanging my fiat, which is useless in Robux. You can get nothing with it. You know, you need to have your Robux. And so, you know, if you're looking at, for them, the way they think is like, in his life, he wouldn't have, like, you know, he wouldn't ever want to go into a bank. You know, that's archaic to go and like draw out cash or go to a machine. He's never in his life, and he's got Bitcoin. You know, and so to him, Bitcoin and V-Bucks are the way to go. And those are two completely separate kind of currencies. One is digital, one is real, you know. So I just think it's going to be way more fluid in the future. And if you want to swap a horse for 2 chickens, I can go ahead and swap your horse for 2 chickens, but you can't have my house. You can't have my house, but I'll take your horse.
You bring up an interesting point about V-Bucks and value, because I have 2 teenage kids, and I've graduated several out of the house that also contributed. They're not as into Roblox, but we definitely have had some Fortnite gaming and V-Bucks, and my 16-year-old son, that's like his full-time job outside of school is playing games. And, you know, I never see him. He's in his room playing games all the time. And now he has his own debit card, so he doesn't even need to come see me when he wants to buy stuff because he has his own money. And, you know, the majority of his money gets spent on skins. And it just doesn't, the value in it drives me nuts. I'm like, why does it? Because it doesn't add even anything to the gameplay. Like the skin, the gun skin doesn't make the gun more valuable. Yeah, of course I have. I don't have time to do that anymore, but.
Game, I look like a bunny. Okay, I play a better game when I'm running around dressed in a pink bunny suit with like a fluffy white hat. Okay, so it makes a difference to my gameplay.
I just don't see the value in, but that's me. That's my subjective value proposition versus his. He gets something out of it. There's no long-term value in it. You can't do anything with them. You can't sell them. You can't do it. He uses them for a little while, then he's dissatisfied and wants another skin, and that's fine. But it's But
NFTs come in, Peace. That is why, as a gamer and as a mother of a gamer, and I support gaming and tech, and we sitting coding on AI with him until all hours of the night. this is where NFTs are like an absolute game changer, because suddenly you get designers creating designer gear for your skins, and then you get the clothes become vintage, and those are NFTs that you own and you can sell. So, you know, I keep saying to my son, I believe that the future of these things, of NFTs, I mean, it's a huge future for gaming, you know.
For sure.
Um,
For sure. And nobody, I totally understand value and where it derives from, and that the value in any exchange is based on the value that the parties involved in the exchange give it. But there's externalized influences on that. And it's, in a world of 8 billion people, it becomes very, very complex as to the dynamics involved, which bartering is just one way. It's bartering by definition is an exchange of goods and services without monetary exchange. You can do it, but money makes it a lot more, it greases the market, having currency versus not having currency. And we need currency.
Can I t-
We need hard currency. We need currency that retains value. Right now, the problem isn't currency; it's the currency policies that it's a massively inflationary system, which is used to extract value out of the process. It's someone that has nothing to do with the exchange extracting value from every exchange. That's the problem. It's the money supply and how it's managed.
It's also the minute you give, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, about the value that we assign to money and how we give it value and how you earn it. I don't think those parameters have been clearly defined yet. That's another whole conversation. But I just wanted to also mention, I've got a friend. She's my closest friend, and she is a Wiccan, and she does therapies. She does all sorts of things, but she doesn't accept any money in exchange. So she is living this kind of preach that we are very interested in building out, where she says that if you come for a treatment with her, we will take like a meal, or like she'll bring me meals. Like some days she'll have cooked too much food. We live just near each other, and she'll ping me and she'll say, "Listen, there's extra dinner. Would you like?" And then my husband drives up and fetches it, and then I'll make a fruit salad 2 days later, and we'll do a hike together, and I'll drop it off at her house. And if we go for a treatment, I'll take like generally food, so it will be like a blueberry bush, or because we plant a lot of our own food. So we are kind of trying out these new ways of being together. I will have like strawberries in my garden, and then I'll pick them and I'll take them to her house, and she will give me like a color therapy massage. So it does work, and I think it's really just your mind and us getting out but anyway, we should have like a 6-hour show on this.
I get too worn out after those. We've done a few of them. I end up starting to drink on them and stuff. It gets to be, well, I do love these though. I love these conversations. I love that we're getting more people involved on a regular basis. Rashid, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming out. I can't wait to see more of what you got coming out from Bucket Hat Crew. Reece, if you're still listening, thank you for tuning in, my brother. Kitty, I love that you're a regular on the Wednesday morning show now. Is it Reece is coming on your show tomorrow? That's at noon?
Yeah, tomorrow. I've actually been like weighing up whether I should cancel it or not, because my husband's doing a show at like a massive arena, and the show starts 45 minutes into my show, and but I've got to be there 2 hours before my show because he's got sound check and then dinner and all the shit that goes on. So I can go backstage and I can do it, but I don't know what kind of racket there's going to be, and if I can find a quiet space in the backstage. I know there's lots of different floors and different backstages, so I actually need to speak to Reece and see whether it's possible. So yes, for now, tomorrow 12 p.m. ET, Reece and I.
Right, and subject to change depending on Kitty's availability, but I have faith that she'll sort it out and probably do the show. But if not, no worries. If not, no worries, and we'll see you again next week. Rashid, any last words? Anything else we should know about Bucket Hat Crew? Where should people go to check you out? Is the X space? You guys have a Discord or a Telegram?
Yes, actually on my page, I have a link tree with all the links, added on there. So if anyone is interested and wants to check it out, they should definitely, click the link and should follow, the Sniper Agent to
right
to
on.
see the
And that's
launch.
at Bucket Hat Crew on X, and then they can get the link to your link tree and go check out all your stuff. Go do it. Check out our friend, and really excited about the launch of your bot. Maybe when you have that up and running, you'll have to come back and demonstrate it for us sometime on a show. I'd love to have you back.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Mel, for coming on. GP, you got any last words for us today?
Yeah, guys, let's just have let's keep high frequency vibes in the room, keep love in the room, keep our head down, and keep chipping away. We're moving the space in the right direction, and we're doing good work. So yeah, big shout out to all the builders in the space, all the artists, and everyone doing onboarding for Stacks and the broader Bitcoin ecosystem.
Right on. I do want to let Jimmy Firecracker know that no, cereal is not soup. But thanks for the question. Thank you all for tuning in today. I am PeaceLoveMusic. We are DeOrganized Media, coming at you live on BitcoinLive Decentralized, broadcasting every Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Run until about 10 o'clock or so. And thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Nobody and Gary and all of our good friends in the group chat, DeFi Dictator, Freddie. We had Jamie and Reece and all. I love how much engagement we're getting. I love that you guys are participating in this space. And that's really what it's all about, is getting us all together. So thank you guys for tuning in. I am PeaceLoveMusic. Y'all have a blessed rest of your day, and we'll be back at it tomorrow morning. Peace out.